Hey Radiant Souls, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Heather. I'm an intuitive artist, author, animal communicator, energy healer for pets and people, psychic channeler, and medium, and I'm on a mission to empower and embolden others to connect with their divine radiant light. One of the ways I'd like to do that, and I was trying to wrap up this whole series within summer 2024. We're a little past that now, depending on who you ask, I guess, right? You can still claim that it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere. So I wanted to go through the 12 steps for finding and shining your light that I share in my book, Hey Radiant Souls. And I was calling it the Radiance Masterclass. So if you're coming to this after the fact and you want to see some more videos like this, look for that playlist on my channel. And I'll link it in the description box below. We're on number 10 of the 12 steps. And the first thing I wanted to bring forward was that these aren't ranked steps. It's not a progression. So any one of these steps could be the thing that kind of unlocks you or unsticks you at any given time. So I want to also say, what do I even mean by finding a guide to finding and shining your light? Am I looking for like the light switch that I flip on in the room? What is that? For me, that is your authentic self. The thing that the little spark that you can feel within you that is, hey, this is me. This is like the most sacred, beautiful part of me that I am supposed to bring into this world. And sometimes I'm afraid to speak out or shine, or sometimes it feels like I'm not accepted or welcomed in whatever way I want to express myself. Whatever it is that you feel is so pure and authentic, your soul, the very kernel and essence and seed of you, that is, in my view, your divine radiant light. Sometimes we get put into boxes, we have labels affixed to us, we get ourselves in other predicaments, we get into situations that stretch or compress or reshape or hide or suppress that light. And that's okay. That's the game. That's the game of life sometimes. But we aren't often taught how to find that light within us, how to go back and find it and reignite it for ourselves. So that's what I hope that some of this information helps you with, because we're all facing that from time to time. It's not, you don't reach a level where you're like, whew, thank goodness I got here. I am so set. I am fully being myself in every moment of every day. Something may come along and knock you off of that. So our life in one regard is building that resistance and that muscle. I kind of see it as like walking on a balance beam, and I'll be even more specific than that because this might help some of you with the imagery. There is a scene in the movie Dirty Dancing where Patrick Swayze is teaching Jennifer Grey, Johnny is teaching Baby how to like have balance. And so he's walking one foot over the next on a log over a river. And that's actually kind of relevant because you'll see in a minute a river comes up. But that's kind of how I visualize holding and maintaining your center as well, is that there's going to be times where you're going to wobble. You are going to lose your balance. And do you fall completely off, or are you able to catch yourself? And the more you learn about your authenticity, the more you tune into that divine radiant light, the easier it is to calibrate back instead of losing your balance entirely. So it's always being mindful of that. I don't think we ever reach a point where we're just smooth sailing and that's it. So I wanted to mention that. Please don't beat yourself up if you're like, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in my life. I don't feel like myself. I haven't felt like myself for 50 years. Cool. That's okay. That's part of the journey. So I want to first bring through the channeled message that my team of guides shared with me in 2020 when we were writing the book. And this, if you want to picture Patrick Swayze again for this, go for it. Hey, Radiant Soul. Go down to the river, dear one, and sit upon its sandy shore. Listen to the wisdom it shares through its gurgling gossip. Hear the echo of your own distant voice, bouncing and trickling over the rocks, inviting you to remember. Dip your hand into the cool water. Feel it wash from you the self-doubt, the mottled spots on your soul made by half-truths, the knotted nests of worry and judgment that sit within your stillness. Let it mold you, gently polishing your rough spots so that your truth can flow freely. For as the water shapes the rocks and wears down their jagged edges over time, so too will it smooth your fractures. Fill your cup with this clear, flowing honesty, this trickle of truth that cascades into pools of calm surrender. So clearly, the team was feeling a little poetical when that message came through. But what I really like about it is picturing your truth, your authenticity, yes, as that divine radiant light, but also this flow, this beautiful flow. And we hear that a lot, the flow state. I'm out of the flow state. I need to find the flow state. I'm not in the flow. Finding that channel, that beautiful connection to source, to God, to yourself, to all of the above. And when you can get in there, the other thing I liked about that is that you see it washing off. I think it said the half-truths. And I think that's one of the ways that we get ourselves disjointed from our authenticity. We will kind of repress or suppress a part of ourselves and show up as like 50% us, because maybe that's the part that feels safe. I can be this much me and not be ridiculed. I can be this much me and not feel afraid. I can be this much me and I won't lose friends. I can be this much me But the goal is to be all of you. And so when you're washing those half-truths that you've told yourself, and then they just become habit, you kind of accidentally paint yourself into a corner. Oh, this is who I am. No, that's who you have felt safe being. There's a difference. So I love seeing the image of the water, and it reminds me of there's one of my favorite hiking spots in the North Carolina mountains has a little trickle of a stream running through it. Now we're on another movie. A river runs through it, but we're not. And what I like about this particular stream is there are all these like really nice big boulders around it. And it looks like, yes, it's a nice little picnic spot and it's somewhere people can gather and sit. But there's one rock in particular that has just been worn down and it's smoothed over what I think is likely 100 plus years of people coming and sitting and pondering. And you can just feel this energy. And honestly, I've connected to the consciousness of the rock, and the rock is very honored to be in that spot and all that it has witnessed and the tears that have been shed there and the laughter that it has seen. And it's just this beautiful, serene spot. So if you're one who likes to visualize, maybe you can imagine a spot like that in your next meditation, and that is where you are surrendering whatever you need to into the current of this river to then let it wash away and free you from those half-truths, from those knotted nests of worry. So let's connect back into my team of guides, see what messages they have for us today as it relates to this, and I'll be back at the end of the video to wrap it all up. Enjoy. Hello, bright and beautiful beings. We are so honored to speak with you today on the topic of filling your own cup. Many of you are caretakers and providers of and for others, and that is extremely honorable and brave and courageous and shows your strength and your passion and compassion. There is an adage on your planet: you can't pour from an empty cup. And it is this saying that we drew some of our inspiration for, the words that were shared with you earlier. But we would like to extend on that, expand on that message a little bit today. When we say fill your cup, we do not mean necessarily live it up, have the self-care that your world would sometimes show to you as bubble baths and champagne and luxurious trips and gold-filled this and whatever high lifestyle sometimes self-care is categorized as. We would say that is a little bit of perhaps an intentional head fake about self-care, so that it feels unattainable to you, so that it feels disempowering. Oh, I can't have that kind of lifestyle. It is not in the lifestyle that the self-care exists. And if you are someone who does have that kind of lifestyle and experiences those things, we are not putting judgment on them at all. We are saying they are most commonly shared in your world as examples of self-care and self-love. And when we say fill your cup, we do not mean with the things that don't fit you. We mean specifically with those things that absolutely replenish your soul. Let us give an example. Filling your cup may mean that you say no to an invitation because truly you've heard the whisper of your soul and your body and you're tired and you would prefer to have some quiet. You need time to recharge. Filling your cup may mean that you try something very adventurous for yourself because you hear the whisper and the echo and the calling of your heart that says, boredom is getting you nowhere. Try something. Do something a little different today. Filling your own cup may mean that you play around with the poetry you wanted to write for 20 years but never felt you had the time or the discipline or the topic or the ability to try. Filling your own cup can be anything. Whatever is relevant for you. Whatever nudges you closer to your own sacred truth. Allow that to come into your space and allow that, as we spoke about in the words about the river, allow that to come in. Invite that in. Invite that sacred knowing. And it may feel scary. It may feel less like the trickle of a stream and more like the raging rapids of a river. And that's okay. Just imagine that it fills up all the parts of you that have not been nurtured, that have not been seen, that have not been validated, not just by others. For another's validation is worthless. It is your own validation of yourself that is the most important. But in how many ways do you not see yourselves? In how many ways do you not validate the absolute, stunning, remarkable beauty that you are inside and out? Allow the water then to serve as this vessel and this vehicle for moving those things into your awareness and into the very core of your being so that you can then gaze upon the water as a reflection and say, there I am. I see. I see that I can surrender to this beautiful flow. For my soul has the strength, it has the depth, it has the current, and it has the beautiful replenishing grace to take me to wherever it is that I feel most enlivened, that I feel most empowered, that I feel most authentic. Fill your own cup, dear ones. We thank you for the honor of creating this message for you and with you. Be blessed. So this is the second time this week that I did an interview a few days ago, and the same kind of image of, maybe it's just me, maybe I should prepare for something, but the same image of rapids coming up that, yeah, you can think about a flow being a stream, but it can also be a little choppy and like rapids. And I think that applies for a lot of us. It's also very interesting, the energetics that we have in the world right now. It can feel a little bit like whitewater rafting. Not in control. Things are going to take us a little swifter to places maybe that we didn't mean to go. But knowing that you have the strength to navigate yourself back and that it can still be enjoyable. It can still be fun. We don't always have to know. I think sometimes with the lazy river, if you're just floating, okay, that's great. That's surrender. That's a state of flow. But are you being challenged? And then the rapids, you're being challenged, but maybe too much. So it's almost like finding the healthy balance between those two. And we're mixing all kinds of metaphors, which is what we do here. But essentially, filling your own cup. What does that look like for you? If you could live in this bubble for just a second, a split second, how big could you dream? What would come in? What feels like, what are you thirsty for? What feels lacking in your world right now? Can you fill your own cup for that? Can you advocate for yourself? Can you speak up for yourself? Can you have agency and sovereignty over every aspect of your life in a way that allows you to feel seen? I also liked in the message what the team said about validating, that it's never about seeking someone else's validation. It's about seeking our own and seeing ourselves for the sacred and beautiful beings that we are. And if we're always looking for someone else to share that reflection with us, about us, that mirror, that image will always be a little distorted because they're only seeing things from their perspective, from their eyeballs. We need to see it for ourselves, from ourselves. So that's all I have for today's message. I hope you found it helpful. Leave me a comment below. Let me know. We've got 2 more chapters or topics to go through, and then we're done with the Radiance Masterclass. I hope you are enjoying it. I hope you find it helpful. And even if it doesn't feel like something that you necessarily need in this particular moment, like I said at the beginning of the video, these topics can be things that you revisit. I have heard from many people who have the book, and there's actually activities in the book as well to help you tune into each of these kind of topics or themes. And I have people who will go through and kind of work it throughout the year. They'll take a topic a month or a topic a week, or they'll just pick something that feels relevant to them. Or my favorite of, let's just flip the book open and see what I need to know, that kind of thing. So you can come back into this, and that's why the playlist is here, so you can self-serve as needed. So hope you found this helpful. Have a great day. Bye.